Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Robbie and I here to talk all sorts of things from the win against Oxford, Man City next in the FA Cup, and of course, transfer news, because it is the transfer window.
Hi, welcome along to AFTV Transfer Day.
I was going to say, is that just the automatic response? It's just,
yeah, it is.
Your camera's in your face, you hear the word transfer, it's just, hi, welcome to... Anyway.
Listen, I was walking down the street the other day and somebody asked me to say that.
Oh, what? No.
They actually asked me, they said,
serious.
they go, Robbie, could you do like the intro to Transfer Daily? I go, what? They said, could you do the intro to Transfer Daily? And I said, all right. Hi, welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that we linked with a January transfer and moved to Arsenal. And the guy was like, yo, thanks, man. What?
My word.
I was like, wow, okay.
Fair enough. I mean, that's quite a request, to be fair.
Yeah. And when I was in Qatar, a couple of people asked me to say, we're going to do this.
Yeah, no, that's another one. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't. Did they at least have a camera out? Did they at least want to capture it?
Yeah, they wanted a camera out. I have to start charge for that, man. We're going to do this. I mean, trademark.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, you were at Oxford yesterday. You were just saying that in your fan cam, you described the first half as Tottenham and the second half as Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. We wore that white kit. First half, we looked like Tottenham in it. Second half, we looked like Real Madrid in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I broke it down as. We were poor in the first half, but in the second half, woke up in some great football. And Eddie Nketiah again with a couple of great goals. Fabio Vieira, really impressed with him in the second half. And you got El Neni as well, getting that goal, the all-important goal. That he's watching that game. He's like, all we need is a goal. And then because to be fair, Oxford, they defended really, really well in the first half, but they didn't really offer nothing going forward. You know what I mean? It was just like, so you're just like, we just need that first goal, and then the floodgates will open. That's kind of what happened. Yeah. But yeah, I was pleased with the performances of most of the players. Sambi Lokonga, still, he was talking about it in the Bias Premier League show earlier. A bit underwhelming, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to see more from him, man.
And you know what?
I want to see more. We need to see more from Sambi.
For the first time since in the year and a half he's been at Arsenal, I'm seeing the Twitter timeline and the discussions be much more open around Sambi Lokonga. Whereas I think before there was a sense of, look, he's playing with a rotated team. He's a young player. He's still adapting. He's an 8, not a 6, and he's been used as a 6 a lot. And there's a lot of defence for him. I'm starting to see the question marks come out a lot more. A lot more people are starting to say, look, let's really be serious now. We're chasing a title. We're 5 points clear of Man City. It's the January transfer window. Where do we really stand here? Could he benefit from a loan? Have people made their minds up? Does he need minutes with the first 11? But then how, when are they going to come? Because you've got, Granit Xhaka playing so brilliantly. And I think for the first time, I never liked doing it around a younger player who I do think has had largely limited opportunities compared to the others. But I don't think it's unfair to start asking the question now, really.
You're playing for Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately, it goes with the territory. When you're playing for any elite football club, you're not going to get a lot of chances. It's just how it goes. It's not fair, I guess, but it's how it goes, right? And when you get those chances, you've got to seize them. And at the moment, he's not seizing it. He's had played in Europa League games, underwhelming. Yeah. Played yesterday. He looked very flat-footed to me, And he was playing. I don't think he's a number 6. When he plays there, he's very sideways, backwards. But we know that in his time at Anderlecht, he was more of a box-to-box midfielder. The last few games he's played in that position, and again, it's been very underwhelming. I think he is a talented player. He wouldn't be at Arsenal if he wasn't, but maybe I think a loan move. I just keep going back to that documentary when he said, he wants to be playing, and Eddie said to him, wait your turn, my friend.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Basically. But so don't we all?
Yeah, and I really do look on it and think this is a player. A loan is screaming out for him to go and play week in, week out, because you can't be as lackadaisical and flat-footed as I saw him yesterday in the Premier League.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all right doing that against Oxford and you can get away with it, but but it is hard. In his defence, it's hard, right? Because you're not playing week in, week out, right? But the other players that weren't playing week in, week out, like Fabio Vieira, came in and did well. Yeah. So did El Neni, scored a goal. So, Eddie Nketiah seized his opportunity. So that's what makes his performance where people are focusing in and saying, yo, you know, and I see this as a massive opportunity for him. He should be making it so that Mikel Arteta says, yeah, we don't need a midfielder this January. What do we need? We got Sambi. We don't need, we're covered, man. At the moment, you're looking at it saying, nah, man, we need, you know what I mean? I've seen loads of people today saying, right, that's proof that we need a midfielder because of his performance yesterday. It's just how it is. It's unfair, but when you're playing for big clubs, I saw the other day when I was watching that Chelsea game, and they brought on like Amari Hutchinson, and what was the other kid? It was Harris or somebody like some, I can't remember his name.
Or a Hall at left back, for example.
Yeah, a Hall or whatever, right? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you got to do it in that game or else. You know what I mean? People are like, yeah, they're not quite ready. It's not. It's harsh because it's the only game they've played for Chelsea, but it's harsh. But people like Amari didn't. He looked all right, a bit lightweight. But Chukwuemeka, because he sees his opportunity more. So that's how it goes when you're playing for one of the big clubs.
Yeah.
And I really do think Sambi, I want to see more. I want to see more from Sambi Lokonga.
But also, I think if you're not going to give us, you know, a 90 minutes that impresses us, at least litter it with moments that have us going, okay, well, that's what they can bring. And I think that's what, for example, I don't think Eddie, Vieira, across the 90 minutes against Oxford were particularly great at all. But if you look at the two opportunities...
First half, they weren't great.
No, but the two opportunities Eddie got, he took, scored. I appreciate these are more final third moments and they stand out more. But look at Vieira in the second half. I don't think had a great first half, had some nice moments, but in the second half the first thing he does is that running beyond that back heel to Saka, just trying to make something happen, and then, you know, lovely delivery for El Neni, and then the lovely pass, and you can suddenly see that he's feeling a bit more comfortable with what he can do when he gets the ball at his feet. And it's little things like that that make us go, you know what, if we're being really honest, Vieira across the 90, he wasn't brilliant, but he did some really great things that can tell you,
I thought he had a good
with
game. I mean,
consistency,
he weren't
he'll
great
get
in the
there.
first half, but had a good game in the second half. You know what I mean? So that's it. When you come in, and you know what? Let's talk about Eddie.
Yeah, I think
right, because Eddie Nketiah, right, week in, week out, since Jesus has been injured, he's come in and he's doing the business.
Yep,
he's doing the business. I mean, there was a lot of talk around, you know, is he good enough to step in? What's going to happen? Like, you know, we need to get a striker straight away. But Eddie's come in. I think he's been exceptional. You know what I mean? Again, he took his 2 goals well last night. He's scoring goals. He's that fox in the box. You know, you've seen today there's been some comparisons showing him in 2019 and his body frame and what he is now. He's like really worked on his game and he's worked on his body to build up his strength. I remember when we saw him, remember in the summer, in pre-season when we was over in Florida and we saw him, the first thing we looked at him and said, bloody hell, the guy's got big, man. Look at the size of his legs, you know? And he is doing the business. Like I keep saying in a lot of my interviews, right? If he was Brazilian, right? If he was Eduino or, you know, Edo, or something like that, or, you know, Eduardo, or, you know, Edino, right? People be like raving and saying, oh, this guy, man, you know what I mean? Because he maybe come through our academy or whatever, I don't know why he doesn't get the full props. He's doing it because even now, there's still a lot of people saying, yeah, Eddie's good, but... Yeah,
there's always...
I'm not saying he's a world-class striker or nothing like that. I'm saying that his trajectory is good. It's going up. You know what I mean? He's getting better with every game and he's delivering. And, you know, he always said, I want a chance to show you guys what I can do. He's getting his chance. And that's what I'm saying to Sambi. He's getting his chance and he's seizing his chance. And he certainly does look a potent player. When he's in and around that box, he comes to life.
You know what I definitely agree with on that Nketiah thing is, if we didn't have Nketiah when Jesus got injured and then we signed him because of the Jesus injury, we'd all be looking and going, brilliant business.
Yeah, if we signed him, as I said, we signed him and he was Brazilian.
Yeah, you'd be looking and go, wow, he's hit the ground running. And, you know, okay, he has been at Arsenal a long time and I think his form's been hit and miss at times. You know, he's done very well in the Cups. But
he's never had a run, though, James.
But exactly. And when he was given a run at the end of last season, he was scoring the goals and he was adding a lot. You know, he was certainly more dynamic than Lacazette up front. His hold-up play was better than Aubameyang's. We ended with him looking... Was he our top scorer by the end of the season? He was...
Was he?
No, probably no. Smith Rowe and Saka, but he was of the strikers anyway. And, now this season he's got 4 and 4, 2 of them against Oxford, but he scored against Brighton. That was an important goal. He scored against West Ham to seal the game as well. And he's, and actually in terms of the link-up play and the build-up and everything else, okay, Jesus definitely has that little bit of magic, that little bit of something in tight areas and can beat 3 or 4 players. But Eddie largely is doing brilliantly in terms of, while getting the goals, contributing to the whole phase of play. So I'm with you. I don't really understand why there's always the word "but" that comes straight after a bit of praise for Eddie Nketiah.
I heard somebody saying today, I think I was listening on the radio, right? And there's this guy, he goes, yeah, he done well against Oxford. But what about this, the next game's coming up, Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly.
Man United, let's see what he did. I'm like, he did score against Chelsea last year. Remember, 2 against Chelsea. He did score the other day against Brighton. I mean, Brighton are no mugs. Brighton have been, he scored. So I've got no doubt that he could score against Tottenham or he could score against Man United if he's given a chance. He's doing well.
I think his personality, his attitude, his commitment, I think that almost goes a little bit under the radar. We know that clip, for example, that we were just talking about before in the documentary, when he said, we all want to play, and he said in interviews, when I get a run, I'll prove what I can do. And I think that's a massive thing, because that's the kind of thing that allows you to go to Stamford Bridge, have that self-belief, and when there is an error, in those split seconds you're going to pounce on it and you're going to put it away and you're going to score.
That's
what I mean?
He's very sharp. He's a very sharp player.
Sharp.
A very, very sharp player indeed. And I think, listen, you cannot fault what he's doing for Arsenal right now. We haven't missed Jesus. And that's the biggest compliment I can pay to Eddie, is the fact that so far we've not missed Gabriel Jesus, and we wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
So he just needs to keep doing what he's been doing, and I've been very happy with him. I love to see the fans all singing his name and that, and I think he could get better. He could get better. So fantastic, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, Eddie.
Yeah. Completely agree. Well, speaking of the fans enjoying Eddie's performances, let's see what Elliot makes of it. We've got some guests to chat to. Elliot, one of them. Let's get Elliot's thoughts on Eddie Nketiah.
How you doing, Elliot?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Look, we want to get your thoughts on Eddie Nketiah, and why there seems to be this whole, for example, going to this window, a lot of fans have been saying, he's been doing well, and we're looking at Mudryk. We'll talk about that later in the show. But is Eddie enough? But we probably need another striker or a different profile. Where do you stand with it?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like you said at the start of the season, in the form Jesus was in, Eddie wasn't really getting a sniff and wasn't looking like he was going to make many appearances. But since Jesus' injury, you're absolutely spot on. We haven't missed him. Like, Eddie's stepped up to the plate. I think the biggest thing for me is confidence. Football's such a game of confidence, and he's showing now that he is that confident striker, that striker that's going to get the goals. Like the goal against Oxford, the 2 goals against Oxford just show how confident he is, and in front of goal, the 2 finishes are both exceptional. And his goal against West Ham as well, the turn, to take on that turn as a player who hasn't played a lot of football, and then to go and put it in the back of the net, is just showing that his confidence is growing, and he's he's going to be some player when he's complete.
He's looking so sharp at the moment, isn't he? I mean, like you said, that turn, I forgot about that one, that turn against West Ham. Yeah, he's looking so sharp at the moment. And I think I think he could definitely get double figures in the Premier League this season if he's playing regularly.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I think he's fighting for that. He's not so much a backup now for Jesus. When Jesus is back, they're fighting for that position.
True.
There's no reason why, in the form that he's showing, that he can't kick on and get 10, 15 goals for the rest of the season.
Providing Elliot, providing we bring in Mudryk, for example, seems close, or a midfielder comes in. Let's say we get 2 additions, wherever it may be in the squad, but ultimately it's Eddie and Jesus that we're left with to lead the line. Obviously, Jesus isn't back for another month at best. It could be probably another month and a half, 2 months. Do you believe Eddie Nketiah can fire us to the title? Because that's ultimately the big question now. I mean, maybe Eddie in this kind of form, when we were chasing top four a year ago, we'd have been over the moon with. But it's a slightly different, the goalposts have shifted now. This is about maintaining a 5-point lead on Man City, if not trying to grow it, and actually lifting the Premier League title in May.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting what you said a minute ago about how whenever there's praise for Eddie, it's always followed by a but. That's, like you said, that's sort of dying down. And if we are going to fire on for the title and keep Man City at arm's length, he's going to have to be. And from what he's shown since the World Cup, there's absolutely no reason why he can't be the man that brings the title home. And with the form he's showing, the confidence as well, as I mentioned a minute ago, when a striker's in a confident mood, that's one of the most dangerous things in the sport. He is certainly showing that confidence at the minute.
Elliot, I want to ask you one thing, right? We were just discussing it earlier. Sambi Lokonga, he wasn't like Eddie last night. He was a bit underwhelming. And like James was saying earlier, a few people have been criticising him today. We've been a bit unfair with him, with Sambi Lokonga. Does he need time, or you think he's going to come good?
It's a difficult one. With Xhaka and Partey playing so well at the minute, it's hard to see where his minutes are going to come from. Obviously, I'm someone who's always going to, back the players that we've got, and I always want to say, give him time, get behind him, he's going to come good. But as you mentioned, he was a bit sluggish last night, and like Eddie's done, he's got to take these opportunities. As you mentioned, when he gets the minutes, he's got to show that he's got that fire in his belly and he wants a place in this team. And I hope he shows it personally, but we'll have to see. Yeah,
we're gonna sort of move on to the Mudryk chat in a second, because it does feel like this transfer is edging closer and closer. Lots of reports from many different journalists and plenty of ITKs online as well, claiming that they've got some inside stuff on Mudryk. But it does feel like this is really closing in on a conclusion, maybe even some significant news before the North London derby. I want to ask you how you feel about that transfer, but also Emil Smith-Rowe made his return yesterday. We saw him playing out on the left a lot of last season. There's already competition with Martinelli there. So where do you see how Mudryk is used, but also how Smith-Rowe is sort of reintegrated back into the squad and where his minutes come?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you look at Emil Smith-Rowe last season, he was absolutely unbelievable. I always see that clip of Carragher praising him, saying how he loves him with his socks, socks down low. So him coming back is a massive, massive plus for Arsenal, and I don't want to say it would almost be bigger than the Mudryk signing, but it's huge as well. And I think he's a massive, massive player for the squad. But Mudryk adds something completely different. He's so powerful, so dynamic. I really think he would hit the ground running in the Premier League. But like you say, we have to be careful of not. You don't want to upset the balance in the squad. You've got the likes of Martinelli, Saka, in the wide areas, and Smith-Rowe. We don't want to ruin what we have got, but at the same time, Mudryk would. I think he would. He's the last final piece in the jigsaw to just push us on and really go for it for that title.
Yeah, let's hope we get him through. Look, Elliot, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. You've been fantastic. Let's get Dylan's thoughts as well on the Mudryk stuff, because as we said, it's getting closer. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm all good, thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. Mudryk. You're looking for if you starting to feel like this one might happen?
I feel nervous about this transfer. I've seen his performances for Shakhtar in the Champions League. I'm just not feeling 100%. He reminds me of a young version of Arshavin, because when he was playing for Zenit, he had these amazing performances in the Champions League, and in the Russian league, he wasn't playing, Champions League, big quality games every week. So I don't really know, because I haven't seen him play in a big league yet. I feel nervous. Will he be able to adapt to Arsenal? Will he be able to settle in the Premier League? There's no easy games in the Premier League, so you never get a rest. Yeah. Nottingham Forest away and Southampton away, they're difficult games. They may.
Can he do it on a cold night In Nottingham.
In Nottingham.
Mind you, he is coming from the Ukraine, man. I mean, freezing cold, war-torn. I'm sure he can do it on a cold night in Nottingham. But, yeah, I hear what you're saying because, obviously, our last big money signing in Pepe, he came in and he hasn't really shown it. So, you're making some really, really good points there. And I remember us having great in moments, but you make some really, really good points there. But I have to say, with what I've seen of Mudryk, he does look like he will adapt. I don't know. You can never say 100%, but I just like the look of him. I think the fact that Zinchenko's here, Zinchenko will be able to help, guide him along. And the other thing is as well is that he's super, super eager to come. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, the fact that this kid is desperate to come to Arsenal, that bodes well for us.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you want to play for a club this badly, this isn't just, I want to come to the Premier League and show what I'm about. It's, I want to come to Arsenal. I want to be a part of this project. I want to be a part of the title race. I want to be, and all that.
Not like João Felix, I mean? Oh, yeah, I saw the Chelsea project and I've said yes.
Yeah.
I want to go and play against a team that's lost nearly all their games in the last 10 and, a 10th in the league, and people are saying they want to sack the manager. Yeah, I want to go and play there. I didn't believe a word that Felix said. But with Mudryk, I think he's been genuine.
Yeah, I think so. Do you think he's being genuine, Dylan?
I mean, he's liked all these posts on Instagram, Twitter. You see all the Arsenal fans going crazy about it. But I think he's excited. The Arsenal project under Arteta. It's a really exciting thing to see, not for just us fans. I mean, good footballers want to start coming to us. They see we're going to get Champions League. They see that we're fighting for the Premier League title now. We're a different club than what we were 2-3 years ago. So the big players, the big money players want to come towards us. So obviously a player like Mudryk would be more than happy to play for Arteta's Arsenal, without a doubt.
Yeah, and actually, when you look at all of Arteta and Edu's sort of signings together, anyone that's cost above 20 million, they've rarely missed. I mean, we looked at Aaron Ramsdale, and I think that fee was rising with add-ons to 30 million. Ben White, 50 million. People are going, really? These guys, one just got relegated, the other, started for Brighton a bit and was at Leeds before, and people are going, is this really where the money's going? Thomas Partey with the injury problems, but actually, when fit, and they've all been playing together, and they've understood what Arteta wants from them, you think actually we've underpaid for them. That's how good they've been.
I mean, his manager, his ex-manager at Shakhtar, which of course is De Zerbi, now at Brighton, said that he thinks he can be a future Ballon d'Or winner. That's how he described Mudryk. I mean, so it would be a really exciting signing. Do you think we need any more?
Definitely. I mean, earlier
what position?
I was adamant. Earlier, I thought it was a striker, but with, you see Balogun doing so well on loan. I don't think we need a striker. I think it would be great if we could get a loan, but now I'm not too sure because Balogun's playing so well. You're seeing Nketiah bag the goals in like on a weekly basis now. He looks like he's never done before. I saw Nketiah play in the 5-1 win against Sunderland in the Carabao Cup last year. Scored a hat-trick, looked insane, and he's been playing really well. I know he's on, I think it's 77k a week, but he has been playing up to the standards we need him to. So now I think all we need is another centre-back and a defensive midfielder, because if Thomas Partey gets injured, I think that's our title hope's done. So there's a big void to fill in.
Dylan raises a fantastic point there, actually, which is if we were to bring in a striker this January, because of the Jesus injury and we want, some added quality to compete with Nketiah and all that, actually there is still Balogun, who is doing unbelievably well in France. And that
10 goals he scored this season.
We do have to consider that, so it'd only be 6 months of said new signing before then Balogun's back, and then you've got 4 strikers. You can't keep them all happy. They'll all want to play. And whilst there's a title to look at absolutely this season, and the focus should be on what we do in the next 5-6 months, there's another potentially really good player we're developing over there, and that's to keep in mind. Patino's another one who's doing brilliantly. So it's very interesting. I do think Arsenal will have in mind what's to come over the next year or two in terms of the younger players when it comes to these signings.
No, 100%. And it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's exciting to see. It's exciting to, when I'm hearing you talk there, very exciting. So, yeah. So, listen, thank you Thank you very much, Dylan. Right,
Always,
really
thanks for having
appreciate
me,
your
guys. I
contribution.
appreciate it.
Yep, I think we got another. Is it Will Hobbs? Do we have?
Yeah, believe we've got Will. Let's get Will in.
How you doing,
Will.
Will?
Hey guys, yeah, great to be on. I mean, we're in dreamland, aren't we? Start of the season, who'd have thought we'd be here?
Calm down. You know what I mean? Dreamland and all this and that. Like, it is looking good at the moment. Mudryk, how do you feel on that? Would you think that'd be a good signing for Arsenal?
It is. It's the case of the price, isn't it? I mean, what I like about him is he's 22. So the thing is, you've been talking about sort of the last couple of years. Arsenal are a different team to the last few years. Arteta's put his stamp on it, hasn't he? And what we don't have anymore is luxury players. Like everyone, our most creative player, Ødegaard, he's one of our hardest workers. Nketiah, I mean, he scores goals, but the pressing is phenomenal as well. Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, they all track back. There's no luxury, there's no lazy players. In the past, under previous managers, we've had those creative types who've lacked in other areas. I think the big thing with Mudryk is he's got to fit the Arteta mindset. He's got to be a presser, he's got to be a tracker. And all I've seen so far are YouTube clips of him galloping down the wing in the Champions League. I think he's registered the highest speed of anyone in the Champions League this season. So it's about mentality. Like, gone are the days of a Guendouzi, gone are the days of a Nuno Tavares. Those players get moved on if they're not up to it mentally. But he's got the youth.
He's playing well. He played well at Nuno Tavares over in France.
But he needed that, didn't he?
He could be another one we could bring back.
Time. So and you were talking about Sambi Lokonga. Maybe he needs that time away because you were speaking about the Amazon Prime doc, and you saw Lokonga with his mindset, and Nketiah almost said, "Mate, where's your head at?" I think he needs a bit of a head check. He needs to grow up a little bit. But I think it's about mentality now with Arsenal. We smother teams, we get on their backs, and if Mudryk can do that, we know the quality he's got going forward.
Let me ask you about the price tag, because there's all sorts of rumours from 100 million euros to, I mean, look, I think we can all safely assume it's going to be between 70 mil and whatever, 80, 90. I mean, we know Shakhtar were demanding big money. They kept referencing the Antony price, which I don't think is a good thing for us, if I'm honest, in negotiations. But you know, do we worry about that kind of stuff too much as fans? I mean, here we've got the Cronkies who have backed Arteta, in fairness, and are looking like they want to continue to back him. You know, from the end of last season when we missed out on top four, I think it would take our total spend to around 200 million. So, you know, after another year of missing out on Champions League, do we worry too much about these kind of things?
It's about the quality of the player, isn't it? I mean, if he's top quality, we've got to go for him. Gone are the days where we're challenging for place anymore. We've got to have that elite mentality. That doesn't mean we're reckless. There's a fine line between having an elite mindset and hungry and being wasteful. We're seeing that with United and Anthony and every single Bowley signing. So who knows? But because we haven't seen much of him. But if he's worth it, then the price isn't an issue. And he's 22. We've got years in him, and obviously he loves our social media tells us.
Yeah, that's true. Let me ask you, the comparison that pops into my mind is Luis Diaz when he arrived at Liverpool, and that was only a year ago. And you know, Liverpool were actually in January, there was quite a few points off City, but just that one signing, just suddenly you didn't know if he was going to be starting or if it was going to be Mane or Salah or Firmino or Jota, and it just added a degree of unpredictability with Mudryk, Smith Rowe and Jesus to come back. That's, you know, another whole layer of, you know, of depth to that front three that I think adds that unpredictability Arsenal need. You know, maybe it's not just about adding quality and depth because of energy and legs, but just adding that sense of, you know, opposition not knowing what's going to come from Arsenal. I think Mudryk can really give us that.
Yeah, a little bit of mystery.
That.
Similar to Martinelli in the fact that he carries the ball really well, but I think someone else alluded to it. He's a bit of a different player because he's more of a power runner. He's not a silky, but he's more dynamic and direct. And he can, as you say, bring something a little bit different.
I was saying to James earlier, he reminds me a bit of Gareth Bale, like Bale in his prime, where he picks the ball up, pace, power. You know what I mean? Very, very similar in the way he's sort of, you know, running and stuff like that. I mean, Bale just retired yesterday. If he could bring some of that sauce, that would be good. But I like the look. I like the look of him. But like you said, you know, you're right to caution everybody. Xavi, And certain players like this before that, you can't just go off of, there's some YouTube clips of me that I look decent. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Will, you've been fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us.
Cheers, Will.
Let's chat to Mo as well.
We got Mo.
How you doing, Mo?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I want to ask you, okay, we talked about Mudryk a little bit. We'll get your thoughts on that, but also what happens after. Because if this is to be concluded, and we're just having a little look, what's the date now? It's the, typical, my calendar app
10th.
Doesn't work. It's the 10th, right. So still early in January. Let's be cautiously optimistic, say that a deal is agreed or done in the next 5 days. There's still half the month for Arsenal to do something. And I know the price tag might suggest that Arsenal only have one deal in them, but would it be a little bit of a missed opportunity not to bring in a second player, or am I being greedy now?
Yeah, definitely. I think people are getting excited over this 100 million price deal, but people forget that if Arsenal are even going to pay that deal, it's going to be structured over about 2-3 years anyway. So it's not going to be as if Arsenal are going to spend all their money in one January just from this. But yeah, definitely. I
Excuse me.
Earlier about the DM spot. I guess if Partey gets injured, similar to last season, or where you guys have an injury crisis in a certain position, or in the midfield, for example, the tire race could collapse right there and then, because I can't see anybody who can cover in for Partey. I can't see any other player in the squad who can cover for Partey. Because we saw Lokonga yesterday, and he was playing in his preferred position, box to box, and he wasn't even that convincing there. And when he covered last season in that DM position, he wasn't really good either there.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
No, I mean Robbie's. Yeah, you can't do it.
He can't play as a 6. Not when I've seen him play. Nah, not convinced.
It's on the defensive side that he lacks. I think in terms of finding space, picking up the ball, he thinks he's got a good range of pass. I think he's all right in that sense. But what goes under the radar with Thomas Partey is how brilliant he is defensively. That goal against Brighton when we went 1-0 up, that's him winning it back. And the amount of times that he actually just does that sort of, the side of the game that isn't talked about as much. They're just cleaning up, sweeping up, taking the responsibility off your defence. How many times he drops into the defence to win headers as well. Defensively he's massive, and Lokonga hasn't really stepped up in that sense. So I've got to ask then, where were you looking in terms of additions in midfield? Is it just back up in the 6th position? Because El Nenny's done okay there. At the same time, there's no real depth for Xhaka if he were to get injured. And of course, I asked if we were being greedy, getting another player after Mudryk. I think getting a third would certainly be, probably out of the realms of possibility. So where would you prioritise in midfield?
Yeah, I think a cover for the number 6 position is probably the priority of a Mudryk. And also, people forget that I don't think Mudryk can play right wing either, to be honest. I think Mudryk has definitely played our cover for Martinelli. So, and then we look at our right wing position, someone to go for Saka also, because I guess Jesus can play there. But when Jesus comes back, you'd rather him play striker. And you look at Saka yesterday, he came off yesterday. You want someone to cover for Saka also. So I definitely think after DM and Mudryk, a right wing has to come in also in the summer also. Because you look at City, one of the best things about City is that they have so many different profiles in the squad, so many different positions in the squad. It's not about signing 3-4 right wingers. It's about signing different profiles. So if something on the pitch doesn't work, you have a solution off the bench. So I think after DM, definitely a right winger.
I saw it's been linked this morning with Milinkovic-Savic of Lazio, but again, not really a number 6, more of a box-to-box midfielder, another sort of Granit Xhaka type player. But it's going to be really interesting to see if Arsenal get Mudryk and somebody else, or is it just Mudryk they're going after? The Smith Rowe thing, I think him coming back is quite significant, because I think Arsenal might look at that and think if he's fit, that's another option. He's like a new signing. I know we don't like to use that word, but he's a bit like a new signing. But Mo, if you could get one other signing apart from Mudryk, who would it be? For Arsenal, one other. No, it's got to be sensible now. Come on, January, money's short now. You blow most of your budget on Mudryk. You're in charge. We need one other signing.
I do love
reasonable.
Leao,
I like Rafa Leao. It'd be brilliant, and he loves Arsenal as well. That's another one.
Well, there we go.
Over to you, Mo. Who's that person?
For me, it would have to be a number 6 cover, and I think the best one on the market. I was hearing Liverpool linked to him also. I think it's Matheus Nunes. I think someone like him would be an excellent cover for Partey. But I also
apparently he's off to Liverpool in the summer though.
Yeah, but I'm on about now. I'm on about a title run now.
Do you know? you know who I'd go for, and people would be so bored of this name. They are, honestly. But I really would do the Tielemans deal.
Who?
The Tielemans deal. I really would do that deal.
Tielemans are not a number 6.
But I wouldn't. I think we're okay for 5 more months. I think we're okay in the 6. I think you got El Neni who's covered for Partey.
You just said a minute ago, right? That Partey, or what he does, no one else can't do in the team. How are you going to be okay? You heard what Mo said if he was out.
I said Lokonga couldn't do it, but I think El Neni does it all right. I think. I tell you, I love El Neni,
but he's not the same. He's not the same press-resistant DM that Partey is.
I hear you, but I think you see against Newcastle when we were dominating that game and we were finding Xhaka in the pockets quite often. You know, we were just Zinchenko kept throwing the ball into him. He was running at the defence, but he just lacked a little bit of natural finesse in the final third. I think a Tielemans does have that final third pass, does have that shot on goal, does have that little bit of craft that can make a difference in that situation.
I've got a question for you. Why would we need Tielemans when we've got Zinchenko who can play in midfield?
I'll stop it. All right, sign a left back, Arsenal.
That's what you've been harping on for so long, right? You finished with that one now. You're not. You know.
I am finished with that one. Yeah. By the way,
Mo, thank you very much. By the way,
thank you, Mo. You were fantastic. But we did. I was just going to say we didn't get a name from Mo. I feel bad. Did we get a name in the end?
Did we get a name from you, Mo? Hold on. Yeah. Did we get a Mo? No.
We sort of said no to every.
I'm actually.
Huh?
I'm quite glad you guys didn't ask because I'm trying to think of a DM.
We're back on you now. What is it? We're back on you, Mo, man. Come on, give us that name, man.
Well, a realistic signing in this window.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Midfield.
Tough job, innit?
Yeah, actually, someone mentioned it. I'll take Douglas Luiz. I'll take that from somebody. Whoever said it. I'll take
Douglas Luiz. Yeah, but he's not realistic, innit? I mean, I'll tell you, I think that would have been a good signing. I don't know why he wouldn't sign that big contract, but that's not. Come on, you can't get away with that.
We said no to all his suggestions, poor guy. I'll give you one. Ruben Neves.
That's a good option too. That's a good option.
In this window, you're not going to get him.
Are you not? Why not?
And plus as well, if it's going to be the summer, I'd rather Declan Rice.
Yeah, but I think this window you probably could. Wolves are struggling. No.
The Wolves, they're down near the bottom. They're not going to get rid of their best player.
Fair enough. Well, sorry, Mo. Try to help.
No worries, guys.
Thanks very much, Mo. Mo.
All right, let's bring in Laurie. I think you know him.
How's he got in here?
Hello, Laurie.
Can you hear us? Can't hear you.
Struggling to hear Laurie. Just so you know, Laurie, everyone else faultless. Everyone else has nailed it. It's been brilliant. Seamless show. We
can't get Laurie. All right, we'll try and bring him back. We'll come back to Laurie in a minute. We can't get Laurie at the moment.
But let me push you on this midfield thing while we're waiting for Laurie, okay? Because I understand what everyone's saying. Partey is so important. He's so good. He's more injury prone than Xhaka. Therefore, let's make sure we have someone that can slot in. Partey can get the necessary rest. And I hear that. But I think El Neni's a little closer to Partey in terms of being able to come in and do the job that Partey does for us than Lokonga is to Xhaka, if you know what I mean.
Look, listen, if it's not Partey, it's El Neni. But I'm saying that's a big drop-off.
Yeah.
As well as El Neni's does, when he come in, he never lets Arsenal down in respect, but he can't do what Partey does. But that's the thing. I can't think of a number 6 that's available out there now.
It's tough.
That we could really get. You know what I mean? So that's the issue at the moment. But it is a problem position.
Yeah.
Because Partey's been. The one thing about Partey this season is that he has been fit. You know what I mean? And so that's good, and I'm glad that we didn't lose him.
Touch wood.
We didn't use him last night.
Yeah.
Touch wood. But he has been fit so far. But can we rely on him being fit for the rest of the season?
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been since he's come here. But when he's playing, he's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But
he's often the topic of conversation when it comes to rotation, Thomas Partey, and of course we have Man City next in the FA Cup. So let's bring Harvey in, get his thoughts. And the big thing I want to ask Harvey, welcome to the show.
Hi,
is Harvey. How are you feeling about this Man City tie? Okay, it's an opportunity in some ways. It's an opportunity maybe to even deal a little bit of psychological blow. But of course, Arsenal have to really think about how they're going to approach this game as well. The Europa League's coming up. There's a title race we didn't expect. So give us all your thoughts on it.
I think, first of all, pleasure for being on the show. I think, first of all, when you look at the tie, sure, it's probably the hardest game. But I think I saw someone saying earlier, if we win this, it's pretty much an easy run through to the final then. This is going to be the hardest game we're going to have to play. And going off the thing Arsene Wenger used to always say, you want to stay in all competitions. You want to keep the winning momentum going. So I think take every game as it comes, but I want us to put out a strong team against City. I don't want us to be playing Lokonga again or El Neni. I want us to really go for it. Like, this is, at the end of the day, this is our cup. Do you know what I mean? 14-time winners. I think we should just really go for it and try and do the treble, dare I say.
Yeah, no, listen. It's a treble for sure, but it would be an unbelievable. It'd be an unbelievable season. And Arsenal fans are right to dream because of how well we've played this season and the record in the league. But Robbie, let me ask you, in fact, let me tell you this. We signed Thomas Partey, 2.5 years ago? He hasn't started a single match at the Etihad since we signed him. Obviously, he came off the bench in his debut. We lost 1-0, and I think he was injured at the start of last season when we lost those 3 games on the bounce.
Yeah, a lot of times he's missing for them key games. Also, last year against Tottenham, no Partey. Yeah. That's why I'm looking forward to the North London derby this weekend, because Partey will be fit for that. He's absolutely crucial for us. You know what I mean? As I said, what he does in that midfield, nobody else can do. I think the 2 best sort of number 6 at the moment in the league is him and Casemiro at United. You know what I mean? And it's an invaluable position. And he's going to be so important. Harvey, I wanted to ask you this actually. I mean, we got City in the next round, but I want to ask about the North London derby, because that's the game right in front of us. I'm not even thinking about City now. I'll put that to one side. That's not until the end of the month. Tottenham game. I look at this game and I say to myself, this is one of those games that could be a real indicator for me if we can win the league. If we can go there and beat Tottenham, which is a place that we haven't won for
8 years
since Riziki scored those goals there.
What a goal.
If we could go there and beat Tottenham, I mean, it would be a really significant win and something that could push us on to the title.
Yeah, fully. That's a great point. Like you say, the last time we won there, that Riziki goal...
Yeah,
it feels like that was nearly 10 years ago.
I was there.
9 years ago.
I was there, man. A screamer.
Yeah, and we took over the ground. Great times, but like you say, it's been so long since we beat them away. It just seems to be like one of the places we can't go and get.
How you feeling about it? How you feeling? You feel we can go there and do something?
I feel more confident than I have in previous. To be fair, I felt confident last year going into the game, but didn't pan out the same way I thought it would. But this time, we've got like a fully fit team, minus Jesus. And they're looking naff at the moment. I've got to say, like, that Villa game, they offered very little against Villa at home.
Yeah, but they won't play like that against us. That's the one thing.
I know,
it'll be a different game, different atmosphere, you know what I mean? And we've seen them over the years. They've looked naff. Then we turn up and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? They turn it on, so...
Yeah, I just think, like, attacking-wise... They've been quite poor, but unfortunately, bad timing for us. Kulusevski's back, so he'll probably be starting because he's back in training this week. So they'll be in full force. Of course, you say be up for it, but I don't know. I'm quietly confident, and like you say, if we go win this, we'll be playing the same style we did last year at their place. We'll go for the win. If we go and win it. Yeah, it's going to be one of those. It's one of those top 6 games out the way. That's another 3 points in the bank. So a massive game coming up.
Yeah, it is huge.
As they say, when I was over in Qatar, as they said, Inshallah. You know what I mean? That we win that game. Come on, Arsenal, man. This is a huge game.
Yeah.
And if we could get it done.
It'd be massive for us. I think it would set a tone. I think it's really about time we go to their place and get something. and come out with a performance that we're proud of, let alone a result that's even respectable in any way. You know, we've lost the 3 times that we've gone to their new ground and played, and often as well we've been actually in decent form at times where we've been going into these North London derbies, especially away from home. So I think it's so important for Arsenal that they just get through those first 10-15 minutes, quieten the crowd, you know, because they'll be up for it at first, and then you just want those Tottenham fans to just stop and go, we haven't touched the ball here for a while, or you know, or they've had a couple shots, just set the tone, and hopefully we can just impose our football on them, because I do think when both teams are at their best head to head, I do think we're comfortably a better side when both are playing at their best. The problem is, and I do believe in the whole form goes out the window thing, I think nerves the bigger thing. And the other thing also that I think Arsenal really need to keep a lid on is I think their emotions in the game. The last North London derby, Rob Holding got into this silly little battle with Heung-min Son. We've seen Arteta, you know, by the way, I don't agree with any of the criticism Arteta's been getting for touchline antics or whatever, but at the same time, he is one to, you know, be quite demonstrative on the touchline. I don't know if that's always the best thing for the players. I think if Arsenal just go, play their football, relax, and just stick to the game plan. Just play it like it's any other game. It's difficult to, but try to do that as much as possible. I do think we can get something there. Your thoughts on that, Harvey?
Yeah, I fully agree. Like, I do think we've got to go there, play our game. But it sort of plays into their hands a bit. I mean, it's like last season, isn't it? They're sort of a counter-attacking team. Yeah. They're going to let us have the ball. But it's having the ball and breaking them down in that first half. Because we can't be conceding on a counter in the first half, because then you could say the game could be past us then. We've got to make our possession count and like really take it to them. Because I do think last season we were dominating the play, but like you say, Rob Holding got into silly little thing with Son, and then we just sort of let the game fall away from us. So we've got to keep that tempo and keep playing our game the full 90, even when things aren't really going our way.
Completely agree. And look, Harvey, just want to say it's been great chatting to you, and of course we've been able to do this because we've put together this AFTV fans. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, and your thoughts on being able to sort of discuss these topics and what you'd kind of like to see from this kind of stuff in future as well. Yeah,
no, this is like really, really cool opportunity. Like, being a fan of AFTV and Arsenal all my life, it's a pretty surreal moment actually, just being on here and talking to you fellas. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it, can't lie.
Well, Harvey, you've been fantastic. Thank you very much, Harvey, as everyone as well. So thank you so much.
Appreciate having you on, Harvey.
Cheers.
Oh, big up to Harvey. You know what I wanted to point out to you? This is what I wanted to just show you this, yeah? This was our team that started that game, that North London derby, last year away at Tottenham, where we got beat 3-0, right? Ramsdale in goal. Tomiyasu was playing left back in that game. Gabriel, Rob Holding, Cedric. A midfield of Xhaka, Elneny and Odegaard, and up front was Martinelli, Nketiah and Saka. Missing out of that team, I think, Holding will come out, Saliba will come in. Ben White will be in for Cedric. Elneny will come out, and of course Thomas Partey will come in. It'll be a better Granit Xhaka that was in there last year, some renewed Xhaka, and probably Zinchenko will be in there at left. So it's going to be a different Arsenal team. Yeah, I completely agree. It was a very depleted team last year. Remember that? So it was, and it was an exhausted team. That core 14, 15 players were just trying to get over the line. Remember, we won at West Ham. We weren't brilliant. Couple goals from set pieces. We got the win. We were just sort of, we had Chelsea and Man United shortly before that, and every game felt like a final. Every game felt so crucial. And actually, we're going into this game. Yes, it's crucial. Yes, it's big, but nothing is decided on Sunday. And even if that also shows you, though, that you've got to have a good squad. Oh yeah, and we cannot make the mistake that we made last summer. Last January, where we didn't buy in any reinforcements, right? And then that was what we was left with. Yeah, it's true. We were left with the bare bones in these games, and that's what cost us the top four. We cannot afford to make that mistake, and that's why I think Mudryk will be a very, very positive signing indeed. If we can get that one over the line, it's looking good. And get somebody else as well. Is it Tuesday today? So today is Tuesday. What are the chances that? In for the weekend? I think I read somewhere that if they bought Mudryk before the weekend, by Friday and registered him, he could play in the North London derby.
Well,
so possible.
Edu.
I think it'd be really exciting if he was
some
in the squad.
all-nighters.
Do you know what? If they got him before the weekend and you've got him and Smith Rowe on the bench, that's exciting.
Yeah. And
exciting.
and I think Vieira is looking more and more dependable after his performances.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will see. Don't know if we've got any more people to chat to. No
more callers.
No more callers, but
yeah, goodbye to all to everybody who's been part of FanZone today. Really appreciate it. Apart from Laurie, who messed up everything. But goodbye to you guys, man. Thank you very much for being part of the show.
All fantastic.
Really appreciate it. To all those guys. This is what AFTV is all about. It's all about fans and their opinions and fans coming on and letting us know what they feel. It ain't about us. It's about the fans. So, and those guys had some great opinions today. So big up to everybody on FanZone today.
And I know you've been really excited about this, Robbie. I just want to say, I know it's obviously the internals and stuff don't always get discussed, but I know you've been really, really excited about, getting fans, being able to chat to them, making it a part of our live shows when we're bringing news. And, maybe sometimes you guys get bored of my thoughts on things, but, being able to get the thoughts.
I'm only joking.
Look at this guy. Look at this. Shall I sleeve? But, being able to get everyone's thoughts as well and debate these things. There are some amazing people in the comments of our shows who, they'll send in comments or super chats or whatever, and that's fantastic. But sometimes we want to go back a little bit, a little bit more back and forth with people and, understand what they mean and expand on certain things. I'm really excited about this, and everyone's been fantastic.
No, it's really exciting, and, we're through this. We up to get more and more fans on here on AFTV. And it's really exciting. Fans from right around the world, because there's one thing we know is this amazing fan base is worldwide. And Mudryk, if he's signed, you're going to find that out. He's probably found that out already with all his little liking of posts and stuff like that.
I think he knows.
He's probably like, these Arsenal fans are mad.
Yeah.
They're mad. They're on social media.
I'm sure his DMs on Instagram have a few please join Arsenal requests.
Oh, gosh, I'm telling you, man. So, no, it was fantastic. Really, really enjoyed that. And, much more of this to come.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to round it up now.
I think we'll leave it there. Mudryk, it's edging closer.
It sound like an ITK.
We're in that stage. We are in that stage.
Like an ITK, edging closer.
I'm not one, as I would never claim to be.
There's certain words to do with edging closer.
Yes.
Eyeing a player.
Yeah, advancing talks.
Yeah.
And the other one I love is when they talk about sort of understanding the payment, like the add-ons and the payment structure. And it's
add-ons.
just like, okay, we get it. Like,
all the Liverpool fans are always telling me, Nunes was not 70 million. It was 50 million plus add-ons.
Yeah.
So no. Love all the transfer talk at the moment. And also don't forget, back in the morning, Transfer Daily. We're here every single day of the transfer window, keeping you up to date with all the transfer news and also with the live show. But listen, thank you very much for joining us today on FanZone. It was a blast. We're going to be back tomorrow. James,
thank you so much.
Yourself, man. Have yourself a great evening. And to all you guys out there, don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV and to like this video. And we'll see you tomorrow.